Today I'm going to show you how to make the world's best Amaretto Sour. Jeffrey Morgenthaler shared this on his blog back in 2012, claimed it as the world's best, and this is the recipe that everyone kind of uses nowadays. This is like the modernized version. There's one little trick up his sleeve that it's a game changer. If you use Amaretto and you don't add this particular ingredient, it becomes really sweet. So before I dive into the actual recipe, I'm gonna run into some details about the Amaretto. Now in Jeffrey's video on the Small Screen Network, he uses Disaronno. That was from 2012, so I've got a feeling like that potentially was the only Amaretto readily available to him at the time. So I've got a few others. I mean, there's plenty of Amarettos out there, but these are three that I think are commonly and readily available, at least in Australia, probably in the US, but there are others out there. First of all, what is Amaretto? It's an Italian almond flavored liqueur, and it's commonly made from apricot pits as opposed to almonds. So what are the difference between these three in front of me? First of all, Disaronno. This is a little bit more marzipan forward, quite sweet for me. I mean, they're all liqueurs, they've all got added sugar, but this is a 20% liqueur, and it is created from apricot pits, and it's got burnt sugar, and then it's got 17 herbs and spices that are added into it as well. Then number two, so this is Disaronno. Then you've got Lazzaroni. Lazzaroni is actually quite unique because it's made from an Amaretti biscuit. I'm assuming it's like an infusion, as opposed to getting flavors from pits and everything. It's getting flavors from a cooked biscuit, which is really quite unique. Then you've got Luxardo Amaretto. Now this one is probably my favorite out of the three. This one sits at 24%. I forgot to mention this one's 24 as well, so 20, 24, 24. Luxardo Amaretto is actually made from peach, cherry, and apricot pits. So whilst it does have that marzipan flavor, it's a little bit more spicy. They've also got vanilla in there, so it's sweet but more more spice driven, more baking spice. So whilst Jeffrey Morgenthaler did use the Disaronno, I'm going to use the Luxardo Amaretto in the initial stages, but if you wait around to the end, I'll do a side-by-side tasting of all three. Let's get onto it. So first ingredient, obviously, is the Amaretto. Now, as I mentioned before, if you make an Amaretto sour just with straight Amaretto, it's really sweet. So therefore, the secret for the world's best Amaretto sour is by adding in, didn't say that, a cask strength bourbon. So first of all, thank you to Ben White. He sent me this bottle quite some time ago. Absolutely delicious, and hugely thankful for sending it all the way from the States. This is the Fiddler. So Jeffrey likes to use a cask strength. So this one in particular is 58%. The cask strength bourbon adds more proof into this cocktail and then sort of restrains that sweetness. So 3/4 of an ounce cask strength bourbon. If you don't have a cask strength, highly recommend getting one, especially for this. You're going to be making quite a few of them once you try it. Otherwise, as high proof bourbon as you can. But I still think that you need something about 60%. Then we've got fresh lemon juice, 1 ounce, 30 ml. And simple syrup. So it is sweet already, but we've got that high proof bourbon in there. So, and we're only adding a little bit of 2-to-1 sugar. So 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, 5 ml, 1 teaspoon. Just keep in mind that a bar spoon, that varies all the time. So, I mean, anytime I've said teaspoon, I've used a bar spoon, but technically you should use a measuring spoon. So 1 teaspoon. Then we have egg white. So if you're going to be making a lot of sours and you're going to be using egg white, I recommend putting it in like a little dispenser bottle like this. It just makes it really easy to make multiple drinks at once. Crack all your eggs rather than trying to do it a la minute. So 1/2 ounce of egg white. And instead of dry shaking, I'm going to be a little bit lazy and use an immersion blender, or not an immersion blender, a milk frother. It emulsifies the egg, adds heaps of aeration very, very quickly. Add ice into your shaker tin and give it a shake for 10 to 12 seconds. So they have 3 pristine looking Amaretto sours. I'll put the bottles up so you can see which one's which. Oh, my cheese slice has gone a little bit blunt. Garnish, keeping it incredibly simple. Just a lemon peel, sat on the side, and a skewered maraschino cherry. So there you have 3 Amaretto sours. On your left-hand side, you've got the Luxardo Amaretto, Di Serono in the middle, and Lazzaroni on your right-hand side. So let's do a comparative side-by-side taste test to see which one I think is the best. Before we continue on with today's cocktail, I want to take less than 30 seconds to talk to you about my cocktail book, Steve the Bartender's Cocktail Guide. It was published in November 2022 and has gone on to sell over 20,000 copies. It is also currently the highest rated cocktail book on Amazon.com with 4.9 stars. It deep dives into an introduction into cocktails, a brief history, spirits 101, glassware, barware, before it dives into cocktail recipes. I've got 125 modern and classic cocktails that I think everyone should know, and each one has a full page photo as well as a QR code. You can scan that QR code on your phone and watch a quick video. I try to make it as clear and concise and easy to follow as possible. If you'd like to grab yourself a copy, head to cocktailguide.com for a stockist near you. Let's get back to the cocktail. Oh, rich, velvety, really nice textural from obviously the egg white, strong marzipan, but like some spices in there too. And it is a sweet drink, but it's not overly sweet because you've got that cask strength bourbon in there. Oh, it's actually falls a little bit flat, this one. I'm surprised. I like the spice in this and the Lazzaroni. It lifts back up again. This one is quite sweet. My favorite out of these 3 particular ones, I'd have to say number 1 would be the Luxardo Amaretto, number 2, Lazzaroni Amaretto, and then lastly is the Di Serono, unfortunately. There's a little bit more spice driven, this is sweet, and for some reason this is just a little bit lackluster. It's just missing some oomph. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday, guys.